Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. It is Karen here with you today. Today I'm going to be working in my larger dilutions journal and I'm starting off by just adding some gesso onto my pages. I've actually cut that bit out and got it dry so I can move on to what I'm actually doing. So I've got this beautiful image here from Michelle Grant Designs and it's from her new art pack, Crowned. And I absolutely fell in love with this particular image when I saw it. It was like, yep, definitely have to use that one. So I've printed her out onto some rice paper just with my normal inkjet printer here at home. And I've also sealed the ink once it's dry with some picture varnish matte so that when I go to add it onto my page like I'm doing now with my matte medium, the ink doesn't run. So that's what I've got there. So my matte medium is from Golden. I'm using that one today and I'm just putting the matte medium on the paper like in my book and then putting the rice paper down and then putting another layer of matte medium over the top to seal the image in onto the page. And it also creates a lovely base for adding different things over the top. I've also added a layer of watercolor ground because I knew I wanted to use my watercolors on this one. So I've got that down on my page as well and I've dried it all off. So the watercolors that I've picked to use today are my Daniel Smith ones. I don't use these ones very often, but I just felt like I should today, so I did. So I've grabbed those ones out and unbeknownst to me, I actually picked purple. Goodness, I hardly ever use purple, but I did today. So I've given her a lovely purple jumper to begin with, and I'm just starting off adding some colour into the flower crown there at the top. I'm not quite sure what all these colours are actually called. Like I do have them, I have got them in tubes, but as to what their actual names are, I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, that's a really pretty pink, so I'm going to use that. And because I liked it so much, I decided that I would actually add some in on this jumper as well. And I do know that one of the colours that I am using is called Moon Glow. So it's like a dark navy blue. It's a little bit purpley. It's really nice. Anyway, so I've just put that in on the jumper as well. Now you can see me drying it there, and basically all I'm doing is just helping to push the water around with my heat gun here, there and everywhere so that when it dries it doesn't actually look like it's got brush strokes in it. You get what I mean. I want it to look a little bit organic. So now I'm just doing some more on the flowers there, and I've added a little bit of purple, but that was just a bit too much purple, so I'm going to have to mop some of that up. But it still looks pretty. I'm really loving how it's working out actually. I'm adding some more of the Moon Glow and some of the pink in on this jumper just to create a little bit more interest. Yeah, I don't know. I just really loved how it was working out, so I did it again, put another layer on and made it just that little bit deeper. So again with the flowers, just adding in a little bit more colour to the centres, trying to keep the centres darker than what the outside petals are. Once I've actually had that dry, now I'm just adding in a little bit of green. I do know that this green is called Cascade Green because it's only a new one and I really like it. So I'm adding some of that in and just moving around, dabbing off some of that excess colour off those flowers that were looking a little bit too much. What's that colour? I think it's like a sepia or a raw something or other. Anyway, I've decided to use some of that as some of her skin, just so that she doesn't look so grey, because she does look quite grey. Like when she prints out, she's quite grey looking. So I've decided to add in a little bit of titanium buff, I know that one, and some of that other brown that I can't remember the name of, and I've kind of mixed them in a little bit together as well on my palette, just so I can add in a few more shadows where the shadows are, just to decrease that grey and add a little bit more skin tone into it. The other thing I'm doing there on the flowers is adding in another green, just to, you know, make them look a little bit more interesting and not so flat. Yeah, adding a little bit more skin now. The thing with watercolors is like the more layers you add, the better it kind of becomes. I'm no watercolor artist. I just do what I think looks pretty. I'm probably doing it completely wrong. But anyway, I'm quite happy with how it turned out, and you know, there you go. If it looks good to me, I'm happy. And that's the aim of art journaling, isn't it? Is to make stuff that you love and that you enjoy. So now I'm going to make a bit of a wash, and I've decided to do a little bit of a purple wash. So I'm using a dark purple, a lighter one, which I think might be lavender, and even a touch of moon glow. I think I put that in there as well. And I've got a big mop type paintbrush with lots of water on it, and I've wet that to wet my background, and then I'm going to drop my paint into it. But as you can see, I didn't quite have enough paint mixed up. Yeah, so I had to do some more. Anyway, once that's got dry, I've grabbed out a super cool stencil here from Stamperia. It's really nice. Really like it. And some bright green paint. It's actually called Slimed from Paper Artsy. It goes so well with like this pale purple. So a pale green and a pale purple. Oh, friends in heaven they are. So I've just added in a little bit of white snowflake into the slimed as well, just to soften it down a little bit. And I'm only using the tiniest amount of paint on my sponge. So I've got another colour here. I called this one's red wine or purple wine or something like that. And again, I've got very little on my little sponge there, and I'm just pouncing it through my stencil. That's a Paper Artsy stencil too, by the way, designed by the lovely Tracy Scott. So yeah, really cool. So I'm going to add some of these pretty flowers into the background as well. There we go. So I'm looking that I need a little bit more purple in my background, so I mixed in a little bit of snowflake, but then I decided that I'd use this other stencil here. And this one's from Jo Firth Young, also Paper Artsy, and I've tipped it upside down, so it looks like these flowers are hanging down, you know, like she's walking through the garden. That's what I liked anyway. Now, what I'm doing there is I'm adding a wash of gesso. So it's a little bit of gesso with a lot of water. And I'm just knocking back that entire layer of the watercolour with the purple wash in it, and also those Paper Artsy paints. Now you can still see all that underneath, but I've just pushed it back into the background by adding in that little bit of white gesso wash over the top. So what have I got now? Oh, I got my Intense pencils out. I was going to use some other watercolor pencils, but I've decided not to in the end, and went with my Intense ones because they're permanent. So I'm just adding in a few little strands of hair, a few more details to the flowers, and just activating it with my paintbrush here. Now, paintbrushes that I had out before didn't really hold enough water for what I wanted to do, so I got out my really good ones. So they're my silver black velvet ones. Like, oh gosh, I can't remember the names of things today. Anyway, I've added that in and using that particular paintbrush brand because it actually holds the water and holds a lot more water in the bristles than what the other ones do. But technically, the other ones are like acrylic paintbrushes and not watercolor brushes, so that's why. So I've picked out a quote here, and the quote says, "Let me adjust my crown and I'll get the day started." So I'm just adding that in to my book here with a bit of liquid gel medium this time. The reason why I'm using the liquid is because I've actually printed my quotes onto some tissue paper, and the tissue paper is actually very, very fine. So because I didn't want to rip it, I've decided to use a more liquid gel medium to glue that onto my page. So Oh, and I've also used a piece of the pattern out of the art pack as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that before. My goodness. That's a beautiful pattern in there as well. I love it. What am I doing? Oh, I've got a Uniball Signo pen in white, and I'm just scribbling roughly around the flowers there just to add in some more details. I've got my favourite pen pastel out just to add in a little bit of pink to her cheek. And one of the final things I'm going to do is with just a black rollerball pen. Nothing special, this pen, it's just a pen. And I'm just scribbling around those flowers that I did before with Joe's stencil. Just, yeah, makes it look a little, I don't know, adds in a little bit more detail. A few little white dots, and there she is. She's done. I'm really happy with how she turned out, actually. She's so soft and so pretty. I can't actually believe that I made her, actually. Michelle's image is divine. She really is. So I hope that you will check out the art pack. I'll put the link in the description box down below. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye-bye.